Yo, what is going on, guys? Godrekton here today, bringing you a pretty short video just to talk about some things with League and just my overall opinions on the latest durability patch and patch 12.11 I think we're on now. So, yeah, I didn't make a video for a while, especially after, like, my build guide. Kind of because, like, I've just been wanting to know, like, I don't know, it's kind of, like, hard to, like, understand, like, you know, where the game's going in its direction, and the way Riot has been handling it, I think, has actually been pretty good. They've nerfed a lot of healing, they've made things a lot tanky, they've lowered damage on certain type of champions abusing certain builds, and overall, I actually think Renekton is probably, like, even stronger now. And as we're looking at here, I am going a tank mythic build. So, a common question I'm always asked is, what do you build on Renekton? How am I supposed to play him? Renekton is very weak. What am I supposed to do? Well, I think the biggest problem people have is that they're actually going Goredrinker, and as you guys know, Goredrinker and just Renekton have had a pretty rough relationship with each other. Let's just say that, like, ever since like the items came out, Renekton has practically went this as his main item in the eyes of like the you know, the mainstream like League players. Like, they're all building like this item all the time because it synergizes so well, like, for a bruiser and an AD caster. However, I think that's pretty short-sighted thinking, especially after all the nerfs too. Like, Goredrinker has been hit with so many nerfs now. Like, it's crazy why people are even still building this item. Like, you look on all these type of like sites like u.gg, op.gg, there's always like a negative win rate, like, with the Goredrinker build. And of course, maybe that's just like Renekton being weak too, people could say. However, I disagree, and if you guys know me, or 3-in-1, RTO, like, we're all literally saying the same thing. That Renekton has been pretty strong for quite a while now. Now, I know what you're thinking. Yeah, but he's been nerfed, he's been super weak, I can't play. That's because you're not willing to be versatile. Let me explain. If we're going this item every single game, how is this going to, like, fare into many different comps? Like, this item is specifically good if you're against a melee team where you can jump in and then use the active and just be, like, a meat shield. But, you know, it only takes you so far, especially, like, with the things that get played against you, like mages, range champs, like, just any type of range champion. Like, there's so many things that can actually make this item very insignificant. Especially the fact that you're not really gaining much health from having this item. Like, think about it. Renekton's core build, at the moment that people are doing, are like Goredrinker Death Stance them more. Now, obviously, things have changed a little bit with this patch and last patch, where maybe you want to go Cleaver second now, or maybe you're a bulk user like me and you always rush this item. However, you're always coming out very squishy, and that 300 health you're getting really isn't enough to carry you. And often, like, when I'm playing with this item, I feel very weak. Like, very, very weak. And that's not even talking about the fact that healing reduction exists, and the fact that it just makes it even more weaker. And the fact that people take Ignite, healing reduction is very accessible. Like, even if it has been nerfed a little bit, like, it's still really strong. Like, still super strong. And it just kind of makes the item worthless. And I don't know, like, really what we're building this for, necessarily. Like, I don't know, like, maybe it's a cheap power spike. Not cheap, but maybe it's like an instant power spike where you get an AD, haste, health. Like, it's good if, like, you're already ahead, and then you can, like, play, you know, with the intent of getting your team ahead too. But to be honest, with solo queue in mind, I don't see why you would really try to always play like that. Especially if you're in lower elo. Like, you have to carry in lower elo games. And I think it's just so much better if you, like, play for that way too. Like, trying to get a lead and, like, go to dragon fights with this, like, mega lead that you've built up in lane by going items like Borg, Prowler's Claw, tank mythics that make you tankier and also give you more utility for the actual game. Like, I just don't understand why people are building this item. Like, I even came across a Reddit post the other day, right? And on the Reddit post, it was like, what mythic do you build? And the one that obviously scored the most was Goredrinker, and the majority of the people on the subreddit that do type a lot are people that say Renekton's weak. And if there's a correlation at all with this, it's that they build Goredrinker. And I've even read comments like, oh, yeah, I can go like these other items, but why would I do that? It's so confusing. Why can't I just go Goredrinker and have Renekton working? Like, why has it got to be so weak for me to build other items? Well, that's not the point necessarily. Like, the thing with Renekton and being a one-trick, or just even like a really good player with a champion, you have to be very versatile. That is literally number one. Like, and if you're not being that, like, you're gonna get yourself into playing one way, and then your mental and the way you approach certain scenarios, like, you're overall just lowered in your outcomes. If you're lowered in your outcomes to win a game, then statistically you're going to lose like more, or even just cap yourself. Like, why cap yourself when you can go that extra mile to play other things and then always be able to adapt to the situation? And being a Renekton player, being able to adapt has like always been the most important thing ever since I've started playing this champion. Like, we've had way worse patches before, and you've always had to find a way to adapt to the meta, and if you don't adapt to the meta, then you just, you know, you just fall. Like, you have to keep up with the game, and going one item like this isn't going to help, and I think that's like the problem. Like, people would have the same opinion as me if they didn't go this item. But yeah, I think Goredrinker is terrible. That's basically my stance on this item. But what do I actually think is good then? And how do I actually itemize against certain people? Now, I did make a guide for this already, and I do recommend you just to check that out, where I will talk more about it. But just to quickly sum it up, Stride Breaker is really good if you just want like more attack speed, like more like, I guess, consistent damage, or like you want to value that slow to helping you play more situations out. Like a lane like Gangplank, Jax, Trendemir, I think those time matchups, Stride Breaker does feel really good. Although maybe you want to go Bork first before that. But once you get this item, like, you can do so much of it, and the slow actually helps you out a lot too. Combined with the Moonspeed passive, which allows for Renekton to do more things, and I've always been a big fan of Moonspeed. Now, I'm not building it as much now, but I'm just telling you that there is another alternative instead of Goredrinker. And I think 9 times out of 10, you'll feel way more relevancy to build this item over Godrekton, especially from a carry perspective. So if you want to carry games, then this would be the better Bruiser Mythic out of the two, in my honest opinion. While Goredrinker is better if you're maybe behind, because the active could potentially help out and get you in the game. They move around a little bit. So what is my actual build that I prefer doing? Right now, it's Prowler's Claw, like going my, you know, traditional full AD build of Bork Prowler, then Itemizing for the game, or I'm going Bork into Tank Mythic. Now, why am I going Tank Mythic over Bruiser items? Firstly, the stats. This patch, 12.11, they actually got buffed, like an additional 100 health. Like, do you realize how broken that is? 100 extra health on a tank item, so it's literally outperforming these two even more now. And it already was, in my opinion. Like, you get more health, you get resistances, which make you tankier on your second item purchase. If you're a Blair Rune King abuser, like me, typically if I went like a Goredrinker or Stride, I'd feel very weak, especially when it comes to like dragon fights or like just playing around the map after taking my tower. Having a tank mythic though makes me like very strong, and I actually have like a lot of health to play around too. Like, I think at a level 11 with Bork Frostfire specifically, I get like 2,600 health with 2 items, keep in mind, and my damage is really insane at that point. Like, it's really insane. Like, let's just like imagine it's like an ADC too. And I don't know, put 110 health, 120. Like, this will just be a W. Now, I am full build after all, but I just want to show an example though, like how much damage we can deal. Like, if this was an ADC, like with these stats, like in the late game or something, now it is very weak, and I think, to be honest, it probably would be a little bit tankier. Let's just like make it a bit more realistic. Maybe 2,500. 400. Sure, that works. Like, a perfect combo, and I'm still one-shotting. Now, this isn't accounting for, like, a GA or Death Stance, potentially, but even then, I still have a lot to play around, and I'm one-shotting with a tank build. And on this build, I'm getting so much AD. Now, that's not even my ult either, but I'll get into that very shortly. So, the tank mythics, like, when you go over these, like, Frostfire is good, like, if people are trying to kite you, right? So, anything that, like, might kite you and try and, like, you know, slow you down, like, you having this slow is very helpful to stick onto people, as well as your teammates. You're then like very tanky, like your size is bigger too, which can help block things for your team, if you want to think in that way. You get a lot of health too. 100 extra health per every item purchase. Like, that is ridiculous. Like, it really is ridiculous. So we're getting 400 health right now, which is insane. And, you know, with Renekton already having a lot of health, like, it's just really crazy. Very, very crazy. And it kind of, like, makes up for losing the health too. And another thing you might see is that I do have overgrowth with this build. And typically, we will get around, like, 250 health, maybe 350, depending on how much CS we have. I think, like, I think it's, like, 240 health or something you get specifically at, like, 250 CS. So any more than that, like, we'll just gain more health, and we're inherently getting even stronger too for our Titanic, which will go up to, like, 90, 80 easily, along with, like, nearly 6k health. Like, if I ult now and have potion, just look at it. Now, factor in, like, overgrowth too. That's, like, 5,700 health, 800 health maybe, depending on how much you stack it. Like, it's so crazy. Now, I don't always recommend this, like, full health build into, like, things like a Vayne or things with, like, true damage, percentage damage. Like, I wouldn't recommend that, but there is a lot of games where this build can kind of just work. And Sterix did get buffed this patch too to actually be a lot better for Renekton too. Like, you get way more AD out of it. You know, we get a bigger shield, like, in comparison with this build too. Like, look at our shield. 2,200, which will go even more too. Like, it's really insane. So we're tanking up to, like, like 7,000 damage practically. Like, it's really insane. And look, just like, look at our damage. It's just crazy. I don't know why you wouldn't want to go this build. Like, this build is literally S tier. But you can also go Sunfire. Now, Frostfire would be better if you want a quicker power spike, because it is cheaper. But if you want to snowball and, like, beat champions like Jax, Trendemir, things that will naturally maybe outscale you, and where you want more damage for yourself to carry, then I would recommend the Sunfire, because you're getting a lot of up-close damage, and no one can really compete with that. And we're still getting, like, a lot of health too. And obviously, the longer we fight, like, the more we're burning. In a fight as well, like, everyone is getting incinerated from it. If I just put this here, you know, it's a lot of burn. Like, I'm burning quite a lot. So yeah, I think, like, this is really good too. Like, my go-to in the way I've been winning games, especially, like, recently peaking, I am now Masters 344 LP, which is my highest I've ever been, from 339 last season. Like, I don't know, like, the games just feel really easy for me. And I don't know if it's because, like, maybe I'm playing a little bit better than my elo right now, because of how good I'm playing. But I definitely feel like Renekton is just really strong too, because of my mindset to change up my items. And I think if everyone else had that, and were more willing to, like, you guys would think the same thing too. But yeah, I think this build is really good. And Prowlers is still very good too. This item was getting buffed, but they did take away the lethality buffs they were giving it. They were giving it 4. But, you know, even that aside, like, this build is still really good. And I think maybe we can get Sterix again now with this build. Like, we have 4k health. Like, this build might even be good, to be honest. Like, we are a little bit squishy, but maybe if you like some kind of health builds or something, you know, could be pretty helpful. You know, just doing a fast combo. Like, you still get a lot of damage out of it. I haven't fully damage tested, like, what the best Prowler build is yet. But I do imagine, like, something like this is actually pretty good. Like, we're hitting north up to, like, 5k health with, like, a full AD build. So I think, like, health and, like, AD builds are pretty good right now. And I guess we could, like, customize our build. Death Stance has been nerfed quite a bit more. I don't know if this is, like, the best choice now. Especially with how much lower health we're getting from the overall Defy passive. But it's still an option, nevertheless. And it does make you tankier. More is still really good. They did increase the cooldown a little bit, but still good regardless, you know? Like, I don't know, I think Renekton's itemization is actually really solid right now, like, of what you can do. I mean, just look at these, like, mixture of stats. Like, I think the durability patch, too, has, like, made Renekton even better. Like, the fact you can go full AD and have this health, again, like, back in the day when Renekton was more tankier, and so was, like, a lot more things you could build. It kind of brings back that essence of, like, just being able to, like, be very versatile on every occasion. Like, the good old, like, Tiamat, Ghostblade, Cleaver, Orc, and then you'd go, like, Titanic or something, like just to be a bit tanky, or GA. Like there's a lot of options that you can have, and I think right now Renekton's really solid. And I know some of you might ask, yeah, but everyone's tanky now. How do you one-shot people? Well, let me give you a little demo to just to show you, like, you know, that Renekton still has, you know, a lot of things up his sleeve. And I'll do it with like a couple builds too. So let's just say we have this build, right? Okay, that's not what I wanted to do. I actually messed up my combo though. But even then, like, we still kind of does a nuke the thing. So here's like a fast like animation cancel combo, like Prowler, Auto E, Auto WRE, QAA, and it's a one shot. And I do like, it's called like a triple fury combo too. I don't really talk about it that much, but you know, I think Riot's looking into fixing that soon, so I'm just gonna, you know, show you again. Hopefully they fix the WR bug too, where you miss your fury. Yeah, I mean, considering that, like, it might get changed soon or something. Hopefully with this other bug too, where we lose 20 fury from WRing, it goes something like this. So, Prowler, Auto. It's basically this. So, you would do Auto E, or like Auto E, Auto WRE, and then you get 2 empowered abilities off 150 fury. Your E then goes through Q auto attack, and that's triple fury combo. It's something I've known for a while, and you know, I kind of want to share it with you guys. Maybe it'll help you a little bit, give you a little bit of extra damage. But even if we don't abuse that combo, we can still do that too. Like this, for example. You know, like we can still do this and still one shot. So, you know, it's not just like some kind of bug, like abuse either or anything like that. I mean, it's very specific either way that you get to do against a tank. With everyone being like tankier too, I think it's very important to learn a combo like this. I mean, I don't even need to ult there and I'm still one-shotting. You know, like it's pretty crazy. So, I guess if we like just kind of take away this, we have like a Titanic, I don't know, just trying some random out. I'm just doing random combos to show you guys, like, you know, what my thought process might be on dealing with someone tankier than me. Empowered E is always important. Shred that 300 armor, of course. So, Prowler, Auto E, Auto... something like that. Still one shot. And we're still very tanky as well. With Titanic. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Titanic in a build like this, because I think if I was going, like, you know, this instead... I mean, look at the difference in AD we're getting. Like, it's just, like, night and day. Like, it's so much different. And then I get this too, or something. You know. Getting a lot of AD. Even a tank, though, like, we're still just one-hitting it nearly. Like, one combo rotation. But yeah, these are kind of my, like, general thoughts. I don't want to make, like, too big of a video. But I think Renekton's really good right now. I think he's, like, been the best he's been in, like, quite a while, to be quite honest with you. And I guess just to, like, show real quickly as well, like, my progress, like, you know. Masters 344 LP. I'm having a pretty good time. If you want to see my match history too, see what I'm building, show that too. Rank solo. One moment. Like, I'm doing pretty well, I'd say. Like, every game, like, MVP, like, having some high score. I just think Renekton's in a very solid spot. Like, I don't know. If you guys need any, like, tips or anything, or, like, there's something you want to, like, know, just let me know. Like, you see, like, Goredrinker, I just lose with. Like, I usually lose on Goredrinker or something. Yeah, that's about it anyways, guys. Thank you for watching the video. Hopefully this I don't know, little video might inspire you guys to try out something different. And I hope to see you guys very soon. So peace out and have a good one.